In a world where comic sales are dropping, Star Wars is failing, and entertainment is declining as we know it, one group will rise up to the challenge. They are ComicsGate. ComicsGate. Just what in the heck is it? It sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? It must be similar to Watergate or Gamergate, right? Well, my friends, that's actually a long story. It is difficult to pinpoint exactly where it began, but PC, or political correctness culture, has been growing within the last 10 years. It has become more involved in the comic industry, films, video games, and most entertainment. Lately, PC is associated with social justice warriors, or SJWs. Their goal is to push for more diversity and gender equality in entertainment. At first, that sounds like a reasonable goal, and it is, but here's where things get kinda murky. Let's just go back a couple of years, around the presidential election. After Trump was elected president, a lot of SJWs were, to put it lightly, not happy. Many responded with violence, threats, and harassment. To them, Trump represents the opposite of everything they stand for, and I understand that. I don't really like the guy either, but half the country always dislikes whoever is president. What comes next is what leads us to ComicsGate. Over the last couple of years, the comics industry has been making it very clear with which political views they prefer. After Trump was elected, it seemed like those of whom identify as Republicans, or it is known that they even voted for Trump, they were being slowly pushed out of the industry. Most of these comic creators that were either pushed out or left the industry on their own, and Republicans in general, were being called racists and bigots and sexists, even though there's nothing to back that up. These comic book creators decided that, even though they're not partnered with the main companies anymore, they still want to make comic books. Times have changed to where if you want to sell product, you don't need a huge corporation. Now you can just promote your own independent product on the internet or YouTube and crowdfund it. Richard from Diversity in Comics on YouTube was among the first to successfully crowdfund a comic book using this method. Jawbreakers made $383,000, which was very unexpected. Other comic book creators were using this same method as well, and those that were not happy that these guys were successful started calling them ComicsGate to try to connect them to Gamergate and label them as a hate group. But surprisingly, the ComicsGaters turned the intended meaning of ComicsGate on its head and made it about being against harassment and bullying of mainstream comics. Now, to many people, ComicsGate is a good thing. If you are brand new to this ComicsGate news, let's take a look at them and examine their progress. The opposing side to ComicsGate, SJWs claim that ComicsGate is made up of despicable, awful people and believe that those creators shouldn't be allowed and won't sell many books. But if Jawbreakers numbers weren't enough to convince you that they can, look at Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog Bloodhoney. That made over $500,000 in 2 months in just pre-sales, charging more than the average comic, and is the most sought-after book in the world. Everyone was surprised by this. He uses his YouTube channel to draw, unpackage toys, and talk about Star Wars. He has a large following now, and promoted his comic every single day during the campaign. He actually talked and interacted with his audience. He even recently relaunched it just for 1 extra week to give his newest followers one more chance to buy a copy of the book. His comic may have shattered all records, but many other comic creators have found success through the combo of YouTube, Indiegogo, and drawing skills. Mitch and Elizabeth Brettweiser made $165,000 on Red Rooster Golden Age. Mike Miller made $78,000 on Lone Star, Heart of the Hero. Nasser Rabadi made $15,000 on Stardust, issue number 1, which seems kinda small, but this guy is a beginner. Everyone else is well known, so that is very impressive. Jeff Hicks, someone whom is also a new face on the scene, is only a week into his campaign, and as of this recording, has made over $13,000 on Stealing Solo. The point that I'm trying to make here is, if these people were really all that bad, why would so many people want to buy their comics? Why do their numbers and support keep on growing? SJWs claim that ComicsGate is about hate, alt-right, Nazism, harassment, and exclusivity. Yet, they are a diverse group of people with diverse fans. I do not know of everyone that is a member of ComicsGate, but I know Nasser, Mike, and Antonio are not white, and Nerd Wonder is a woman. Most of them are Republican, some are women, some are Christian, and some are white, but that doesn't matter. None of that should matter. It's about the quality of the product and the personality of the people, not the gender or color of their skin. Alright, let's take a step back for a sec. I'm approaching this entire thing from an outsider and viewer's perspective. I'm currently in my mid-20s right now, and before 2018, I never cared about comics. As a kid, I was more into Power Rangers and Pokemon. My biggest passion in life right now is film. I've been watching movie reviews and Star Wars videos, and eventually was recommended videos that brought me to many people that I would initially despise, but come to love. I assumed that Jeff Hicks at World Class Bullshitters was just an asshole spouting crap out of his mouth, but then I watched a few more videos, listened, and realized he's not a bad guy. Later on, they pointed me to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. At first, when he mentioned he was Republican and voted for Trump, I rolled my eyes and was tempted to leave and never come back. But then he was talking and saying funny stuff and sometimes talks about his family, and he just kind of seems like a normal guy, a nice person. He's inviting, and I love all the people that he brings onto his channel. I had this idea in my head that Republicans were just those racist guys that you hear so much about, shouting, "Get the hell out of our country," and "Only speak English," and "We don't like you," and "Go back and build the border," and blah blah blah. But they aren't those people. They just want to draw some dang comic books, make some money, and make people happy. EVS even convinced me, a guy who doesn't care about comics, to buy Cyberfrog. He pitched the idea and teased images, and now I'm curious to see what happens. He brings in a lot of other comic creators on his channel to talk about life and comics and promote their books. I've listened to a lot of their get-togethers, and even though I don't agree with everything that they talk about, they all seem like a nice people with a sense of humor that just want to give their audience a good product. I look forward to hearing them every single week. Let's start wrapping this up. Again, this is all coming from a viewer's perspective. At one point, I considered myself at least on the side of PC culture until I began to notice a trend that did not sit well with me. Forced diversity in movies and political agendas were being shoved down my throat. When I would tell people that I don't like The Last Jedi or some other movies, they would start to insult me and call me a bigot just for not liking a film. I am all for having more people of color in films, but do not tell me that I must like it or else be racist because there are people of color in it. I judge based on equality, not the gender or color of skin. That is why I agree with ComicsGate. They are for diversity too, but they focus on the qualities of the story and character, not skin color or gender. Many of them hold views that I don't agree with personally, but I just love hearing them get together and talk. They actually care about the audience. I'd fund all their comics if I could, but I'm just a lowly subway worker. I really hope that this video doesn't escalate any drama, and I'm open to criticism if I got any information wrong. If you still believe that comic skaters are bad people, then please just tune in on their YouTube videos. You'll see that they are a cool and kind group. Anyway, that about wraps up this little video on ComicsGate. I could make this far longer or split it into 2 parts, but I think enough has been said here. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and see you next time. If you liked the video, please leave a like, or if you hate it, click dislike. Also, share the video with your friends and enemies, subscribe to follow this channel, and hit that bell down below to be notified when I upload.